The New England Patriots just won a playoff game where their quarterback fumbled 4 times. That should have been a disaster, but instead, they destroyed the Houston Texans 28-16 and looked unstoppable doing it. A first-year head coach has taken a team that won only 4 games last season and put them 1 win away from the Super Bowl. What happened at Gillette Stadium has everyone asking the same question: are the Patriots actually back? Mike Vrabel, in his first season as head coach of the team, where he once dominated as a player, has orchestrated something special here. The Patriots finished the regular season at 14-3, tied for the best record in the entire NFL. That's a 10-game improvement from last year's dismal 4-13 campaign. We're talking about a turnaround that ranks among the best in league history, matching what the 1999 Colts and 2008 Dolphins accomplished. But regular season success is one thing. Playoff football is an entirely different beast, and the Patriots proved they're ready for this stage. The game itself was a defensive masterclass, particularly when it came to neutralizing one of the most promising young quarterbacks in the league. CJ Stroud came into this game with high expectations, but the Patriots' defense had other plans. They picked him off 4 times. 4 interceptions in a playoff game. One of those picks went back the other way for 6 points courtesy of Marcus Jones, who has now made it a habit of coming up big in crucial moments. This was Jones's first career playoff pick 6, and the timing couldn't have been more perfect. The Patriots needed to seize momentum, and Jones delivered in spectacular fashion. What made this defensive performance even more remarkable was the context. Houston wasn't just rolling over. They were fighting. They were creating turnovers of their own, and they made this game far more competitive than the final score might suggest. The Texans forced Drake Maye to fumble 4 times during the game. 4 fumbles from your quarterback in a playoff game would normally spell disaster, but the Patriots found ways to survive their own mistakes. That's what championship-caliber teams do. They win games even when they're beating themselves up. Maye, despite the fumbles, showed exactly why New England believes he's their franchise quarterback. He completed 16 of 27 passes for 179 yards and threw 3 touchdown passes. One of those scores went to Pop Douglas on a 4th down conversion that head coach Vrabel didn't hesitate to go for. The analytics crowd loves aggressive 4th down decisions, but this wasn't about numbers on a spreadsheet. This was about Vrabel trusting his young quarterback in a moment that could have swung the game. Maye delivered a 28-yard strike to Douglas, who caught the ball despite tight coverage and raced into the end zone untouched. Later in the game, Maye connected with Stephon Diggs for another touchdown, and then in the 4th quarter, with the game still within reach for Houston, he found Kayshon Boutte for a spectacular one-handed grab that essentially put the game on ice. Boutte's catch through the snowflakes at Gillette was the kind of moment that gets replayed over and over, the kind of play that defines playoff performances. The running game also came alive when it needed to. Ramondre Stevenson had a crucial 20-yard run early in the game that set up the Patriots' first score. Later, when the Patriots needed to drain clock in the 4th quarter, they leaned on their ground attack to keep Houston's offense on the sideline. Ball control in playoff football wins games, and New England executed that game plan to perfection down the stretch. For Houston, this loss has to sting on multiple levels. They've now lost in the divisional round 3 straight seasons under head coach DeMeco Ryans. The franchise is 0-7 all-time in divisional playoff games. That's not a small sample size anymore. That's a pattern, and it's the kind of pattern that starts to weigh on an organization. Stroud, who has been nothing short of brilliant during his young career, had arguably the worst game of his life at the worst possible time. He finished 20 of 47 passing with 1 touchdown and those 4 devastating interceptions. All 4 picks came in the first half, which meant Houston was playing from behind and playing desperate for the entire second half. After the game, Stroud didn't hide from the moment. He took full responsibility, saying he felt like he let people down and that it hurt in ways he wasn't used to experiencing. That kind of accountability from a young quarterback is admirable, but it doesn't change the fact that Houston's season is over and they're left wondering what could have been if their star player had just taken care of the football. The Texans did manage to create some offensive fireworks despite the turnovers. Dalton Schultz caught a 42-yard pass that showed Houston could move the ball when given opportunities. Christian Kirk hauled in a 10-yard touchdown that briefly gave Houston life in the second quarter. But every time the Texans seemed ready to make a run, the Patriots' defense had an answer. Carlton Davis intercepted Stroud on an overthrown pass. The pass rush got home repeatedly. The secondary blanketed receivers. This wasn't just one unit carrying the load, this was a complete defensive effort. New England's defense has now been absolutely dominant in back-to-back playoff games. The week before against the Chargers, they allowed just 3 points, forced 6 sacks, held the opponent under 100 yards rushing and under 150 yards passing. Only one other team in the Super Bowl era has accomplished all of those things in a playoff game, and that was the legendary 1985 Bears. The Patriots are now looking to become just the second team ever to not allow a touchdown in consecutive playoff games since that same Bears squad. The weather added another layer of drama to an already intense contest. Snow and rain fell throughout the game, creating that classic New England playoff atmosphere that visiting teams have struggled with for decades. The Patriots are 24-5 all-time in home playoff games, and 28 of their 29 home playoff contests have happened since Robert Kraft bought the team in 1994. Gillette Stadium in January has become one of the most intimidating venues in all of sports, and Houston got a full dose of that reality. Now the Patriots turn their attention to Denver for the AFC Championship game. The Broncos knocked off Buffalo, but lost their starting quarterback Bo Nix to an ankle injury late in that contest. That means former Patriot Jarrett Stidham will be the one trying to prevent New England from reaching the Super Bowl. It's a storyline made for Hollywood. The former backup coming back to haunt his old team with a trip to the championship on the line. History isn't on New England's side when it comes to playing in Denver during the playoffs. The Patriots are 0-4 all-time in postseason games in the Mile High City, with playoff runs ending there in 1986, 2005, 2013, and 2015. Those are painful memories for Patriots fans who remember watching their team fall short on that stage. But this year's team is undefeated on the road, going a perfect 6-0 away from Gillette during the regular season. If any Patriots squad can break that Denver curse, it might just be this one. The Patriots are one win away from the Super Bowl, one win from a chance to compete for a championship that seemed impossible just a year ago. Mike Vrabel has brought a culture of toughness and accountability to New England, and his players are responding. Drake Maye is growing up before our eyes. The defense is playing at an elite level. The running game is physical. The special teams are making plays. This isn't a rebuilding team anymore. This is a contender, and the rest of the AFC should be taking notice.